I'm Georgia,
I'm Daemonia.
and this is our show, Coloring Outside the Lines.
This is our show, Coloring Out the Lines.
So last year, Next Gallery had a community show called Collaboration, and that piece we decided to test out if this show was going to be feasible or not. And so that is the butterfly piece here. What we ended up doing was we took puzzle pieces, because that is also the most commonly known autistic symbol. And we took apart the puzzle pieces, and then we attached them to a wooden panel and then gessoed over them. And from that point on, Damon and I did layer after layer. So she did the base layer, and then I added and helped her blend a secondary layer, and then she did the third layer, then I did the fourth layer. And once we got to the flowers, I had scrap sheets of paper, and so I used my fingers to show her how to paint flowers, and we just practiced over and over and over again until she was able to do it herself. And she added some layers of drawings, and she of course did the splashes. That's her favorite part. And I did the final imagery of the butterfly. And so we were able to 100% collaborate on that piece, which then inspired the rest of the show. So for all of the artworks, she has contributed to every single piece, and we did it basically the same way, where we would each take turns doing layers until it got to the top layer, and I would do the finishing aspect to bring up that level from a kindergartner's artwork to 20 years of experience doing artwork, and blend that together, but still keeping the integrity of her work within the pieces.
Now, this is the people, like we did the people, like we split it, like making it, and then my mama did this piece, and I did the heart part of it, and then my mom let me do all the rest.
So the concept of this show came from the fact that I have history of working with special needs students, many of them being on the autism spectrum. And as my daughter became red flagged for this, it was a journey in itself, navigating that medical field and getting a lot of backlash for getting her labeled as being autistic. And so over time, as this has happened, what I found was that a lot of people still have very rudimentary preconceived notions of what autism is and what autistic people look like. And Hollywood has had such a dramatic stigmatization on autistic people with how they portray autism. And the one thing I hear all the time when I say that my daughter is autistic is, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, life must be so hard." And, I'm not going to say that it's not hard, because it is hard and it takes a lot of work and a lot of patience. But I also am well aware that autistic people are very smart and very capable. They just have different ways of doing the same abilities that you and I can do. And so allowing them to have accommodations and being able to be inclusive to what their needs are allows them to do the same things that neurotypical people do every day. So this show was to bring out those strengths and the positive aspect of having autism, instead of that gloom and doom narrative where all you hear about flashing in bright lights is how horrible and hard autism is, and how it's such a burden on parents and families, and that sometimes they just wish their kids weren't autistic. And for me, I wanted to change that narrative, and I'm trying to really embrace with true acceptance that this is who she is, and without the autism she wouldn't be the same person. And so how do I bridge that gap of, yeah, sometimes things are hard, but let's celebrate your differences, because how boring would the world be with everybody being the same? And so being neurodivergent gives you a different perspective on the world, life experiences, and my hope is that when we give the opportunity instead of infantizing someone with autism. Instead of infantizing them, giving them that opportunity where they can show us that, yes, we can do it too. You don't have to treat us like children. We just need some accommodations. And so with this show, my daughter's 5 years old and she's getting a gallery show. And she put in the work to do it. She was given that opportunity. And so for other families who have autistic loved ones, I want this to be something that they can say, wow, if I give my child or my brother, my sister this opportunity, they can rise to heights that we didn't know was possible because we didn't give them that opportunity. And so I just want to give a different perspective and have a different conversation for Autism Acceptance Month instead of focusing on that negative piece, because we could talk about that any day of the week with any family that you meet. But this is something I don't hear very often. So let's celebrate neurodiversity. Let's celebrate the fact that autistic people are people too, and they can do things.
Thank you for listening about our show.
And we hope you really come and see the show. There are some surprises I think that you'll find very intriguing, and we are seeking to do something sensory inclusive. So if you need something to do for Autism Acceptance Month, you can attend our show for free. We'd love to see you.